You are a ghost, a whisper in the grand, noisy machine of the galaxy. Your official title is Xenolinguist, Grade 3. It sounds important. It is not. You are stationed at Epsilon, Eridani, listening, post 9. A glorified tin can bolted to a barren rock. Your job is to listen to the stars. The galaxy, it turns out, is a terrible conversationalist. It does not speak, it screams. A million different species shouting into the void. The Cathar broadcast their warrior epics. They sound like grinding metal and breaking stone. The gossamer fleets of Cygnus, X1 sing their star-born elegies. Their songs are beautiful and utterly meaningless to anyone else. Every signal is a wall, a puzzle box with no key. For 100 years, humanity has listened. We have collected, catalogued, and failed. Trillions of hours of alien broadcasts are stored in silent data vaults. They are monuments to our own ignorance. The best minds of the Alliance have tried. They used advanced algorithms and quantum computers. They have all drawn the same conclusion. Understanding is impossible. Each language is a product of a unique biology, a unique history, a unique world. The Githar have no concept of peace. The Cygnans have no word for solid ground. How do you speak to a being of pure energy? How do you ask for directions from a creature that lives in 4 dimensions? You do not. You just turn up the volume and hope they are not shouting about you. So you sit in your quiet room. The only sound is the hum of the life support and the endless static roar of alien life. You were sent here because you were inconvenient. Your theories were strange. Your methods were unorthodox. This outpost is a polite form of exile, a place for forgotten people and forgotten ideas. The coffee machine here is a war criminal. It produces a brown liquid that tastes of disappointment. You take a sip and wince. It is your one constant companion. You look at the main screen. A waterfall of incomprehensible symbols flows past. Data from 1,000 light years away. All of it noise. You are supposed to be watching for threats, for declarations of war. But how would you know? A Githar love poem might sound like a threat. A Cygnan nursery rhyme could be mistaken for a battle plan. It is a fool's errand. And you are the fool they chose to run it. You are a librarian in a library of burning books. Your only other friend is a small, holographic cactus. You named him Spike. You tell him about your day. Spike never judges. He just glows with a soft green light. It is a lonely existence. But you have your work, the work that got you exiled. And you believe in it more than anything. You are just finishing your daily report, a report no one will read. No new intelligible signals detected. You have typed that sentence 512 times. It is the story of your life. You are about to send it. Then something changes. The screaming stops. For the first time in a century of listening, the void is silent. The cacophony of a million worlds vanishes. It is not a technical failure. Your systems are green. The relays are active. The universe has just gone quiet. All at once. As if someone has pressed a cosmic mute button. And in that sudden, terrifying silence, a new signal appears. It is not loud. It is not aggressive. It is a single, pure tone. A perfect sine wave that cuts through the emptiness. It is clean. It is precise. It is utterly alien. You stare at the display. The wave is flawless. It holds a pattern of impossible complexity. It pulses with a rhythm that feels less like a sound and more like a heartbeat. The noise of the galaxy was a messy storm. This is a single, perfect snowflake, and it is much more frightening. Your console chimes, A red alert flashes on the screen. It is a Priority 1 message from Galactic Command. A message for every listening post, for every ship and station in human space. You open it. The text is stark. Unknown signal detected. Origin unknown. All stations report. Maintain listening silence. The chatter begins on the command channels. The voices are strained, confused. The greatest minds in the Alliance are silent. The admirals and the expert analysts have no answers. They are throwing every decryption algorithm they have at the signal. Nothing works. It is a lock with no keyhole. The Gathar are silent. The Segnans are silent. Everyone is listening to this one new voice. This perfect, impossible broadcast. Panic is a quiet thing in space. It is the tightening of a captain's jaw, the tremor in a comms officer's voice. You can hear it now. A ripple of fear spreading through the stars. They are afraid because they do not understand. But you are not afraid. You feel a thrill, a jolt of something you have not felt in years. It is the feeling of being right. You pull up your own files, your life's work, the theory that ended your career, the idea everyone called foolish. Your theory is simple. Language is not sound. It is not culture. It is not biology. It is math. Pure, universal logic. A structure that underpins reality itself. You believe every mind in the universe must understand certain truths. The concept of 1 + 1 = 2. The logic of cause and effect. The difference between existence and non-existence. You argued that a truly universal language would not use words. It would use logic. It would be a series of mathematical statements. A language built from the source code of the cosmos. Your professors laughed at you. They said you were a philosopher, not a linguist. They told you to study grammar and syntax, not the fundamental forces of the universe. So you came here, to this forgotten place, and you kept working. You built a new kind of translation matrix, one based not on words, but on logical concepts. It is slow. It is clumsy. It has never worked before. Because it was listening to the wrong things. It was trying to find logic in the emotional screams of 100 different species. Now, you have something different. You have the silent signal, the perfect wave. You look at its structure. It is not a jumble of alien grammar. It is elegant. It is a mathematical proof being written in real time. It is exactly what your theory predicted. Your hands move across the console. You do not use the Alliance's brute force decryption tools. You use your own. You feed the signal into your logic matrix. You tell the system to ignore sound, to ignore symbols. You tell it to look for a single, fundamental concept. The simplest and most powerful idea of all. A binary choice. Something is, or it is not, a question. The screen fills with cascading code. Your little outpost's computer groans under the strain. It was designed to file reports and run the coffee machine, not to decode the secrets of the universe. For hours there is nothing, just the hum of the server and the perfect pulsing signal on the main screen. You feel a familiar sting of doubt. Maybe they were right. Maybe you are just a fool on a lonely rock, chasing patterns in the static. You are about to give up, to lean back and admit defeat. Then a single symbol flashes on the screen. It glows with a soft, white light. It is not a letter. It is not a number. It is a shape, a simple, elegant glyph. Your system has found a recurring pattern, a foundational piece of the logical structure. It is the cornerstone, the linchpin of the entire message. Your heart pounds in your chest. You isolate the glyph. You cross-reference it with the logical propositions that surround it. The pattern is undeniable. The glyph does not represent a thing. It represents an action, an inquiry. It appears before a complex statement, and it is always followed by a space, a pause, a moment of waiting. It is the linguistic equivalent of an outstretched hand, a request for a reply. You run the final simulation. The conclusion is inescapable. Your system provides a single, translated word. Question. The first word. The first bridge across the great, silent void. It is not a threat. It is not a greeting. It is an inquiry. The senders of this message are not shouting. They are asking. And they have been waiting for a very long time for someone to understand the question. You lean back in your chair. The worn fabric groans. The air in the small room feels electric. A single word. You have done what a century of experts could not. The galaxy is silent because it has been asked to be. It is listening to a question it cannot comprehend. You look at the comms panel. The official channels are still a mess of confusion. High Command is preparing for the worst. Fleets are moving to defensive positions. They think the silence is a prelude to an attack. They are preparing for a war with a shadow. You have a choice. You can transmit your findings. Send your single, translated word to the Alliance. They will probably ignore it. The ramblings of a disgraced linguist from a forgotten outpost. They will dismiss it as a statistical anomaly, a ghost in the machine. Or you can do something bolder. Your theory states that language is logic. If you understand the question, you can provide an answer in their own language. It is a colossal risk, a direct reply to an unknown power, an act that would be seen as treason by Alliance Command. You could start a war, or you could start a conversation. You look at Spike, your holographic cactus. Well, Spike, you say. What do you think? He continues to glow, as helpful as ever. You smile. The choice is not really a choice at all. This is the moment your entire life has been building toward. You are not going to let it pass you by. You turn back to your console. Your fingers are steady. You analyze the structure of the question glyph. You see how it is formed from smaller, more fundamental logical operators. You reverse the process. You begin to construct a new glyph, an answer. You do not send a complex message. No grand introduction of humanity. No star charts or scientific data. That would be arrogant. It would be noise. You must answer the question with another question to show that you understand the nature of the dialogue. You construct a simple, elegant reply, the most fundamental response possible. You create the glyph for answer. And then you pair it with the concept of sentience, a life form capable of asking. You are not saying, "We are here." You are saying, "We are listening." The message is 2 glyphs long, the conceptual equivalent of cognizant reply. You take a deep breath. You are about to break a dozen protocols. You are acting as the sole representative of your species, without permission, without oversight. It is the most reckless thing you have ever done. You hit transmit. Your little outpost's transmitter is not powerful. It is a tiny whisper against the void. But the signal is not aimed at the galaxy. It is aimed at the source of the message, a focused, narrow beam of pure logic, a single reply sent into the great silence. For a moment, nothing happens. The perfect sine wave on your screen continues its steady pulse, unchanged. You feel a sudden, crushing weight of failure. You were wrong. You have just shouted nonsense at a god. Then the wave flickers. It stops. The perfect, pure tone vanishes. The silence is now absolute. It is a heavy, suffocating blanket. Your blood runs cold. You have broken it. You have offended a power beyond your comprehension. The command channels explode with panicked chatter. The signal is gone. Does anyone have the signal? You stare at your screen, frozen. Your little room on its lonely rock feels like the center of the universe. And you have just committed a terrible mistake. You wait for the warships. You wait for the planet-cracking weapon to fire. You wait for the end. Instead, a new signal appears. This one is different. It is not a broadcast to the entire galaxy. Its energy signature is tightly focused. It is aimed directly at your outpost, directly at you. It is a private message. It is not a wave or a tone. It is a stream of pure data. And it is written in the language you just deciphered. It is a flood of new glyphs, new logical statements, an entire lexicon delivered to your terminal in a single, breathtaking burst. They are not just talking to you. They are teaching you. At the heart of the data stream is a single, clear message, an invitation. It contains a set of star coordinates, a location in a part of space that is officially empty, and a simple request formed in the language of pure logic. Come, speak. A new alert flashes on your console. It is not from Alliance Command. It is from your outpost's short-range proximity sensors. Something is outside. Something big. You switch to the external cameras. Your breath catches in your throat. Floating in the blackness above your station is a ship. It is a thing of impossible geometry. It seems to fold space around itself. It has no visible engines, no weapons, no windows. It is a smooth, silent shape that seems to absorb the light of the distant stars. It is beautiful and terrifying. It does not hail you. It does not threaten. It simply waits. It is the answer to your message, the confirmation of your wildest theories. You have been summoned. The silent alien council has invited you to their table, and they have sent a taxi. The command channels are still buzzing with confusion. They are debating the disappearance of the first signal. They have not yet detected the ship hanging in your sky. You are the only human in the universe who knows what is happening. You have one chance to prove your theories, to finish the conversation you have started. You look around your small room, at the terrible coffee machine, at your glowing cactus friend. It is the only home you have known for years. You're about to leave it all behind, to step into a world beyond human understanding. You feel a surge of fear, but underneath it, a powerful current of excitement. You compose one last message to Alliance Command. It is short and to the point. I believe I have established communication. I am accepting their invitation. I will act as envoy. You do not wait for a reply. You know what it would be. Belay your last. Stay put. Do not engage. Bureaucracy was always the enemy of progress. You stand up and walk to the small airlock. A section of the station's wall shimmers. It becomes transparent. Beyond it, you can see the silent alien vessel. A path of soft white light extends from the ship to your airlock. An open door. They are waiting for you. You take one last look at your console. The screen is filled with a new language, a gift from the stars, a dictionary for the universe itself. You smile. This is no longer an exile. This is the beginning of everything. You step into the light. The journey is instantaneous. There is no sense of movement, no acceleration. One moment, you are in your dingy station. The next, you are somewhere else entirely. The light fades. You find yourself standing in a vast chamber. The walls are the color of twilight. They seem to be made of solid shadow and captured starlight. The air is cool and clean. In the center of the room is a single platform. You are standing on it. You are not alone. They surround you, the silent council, the elder ones. They are beings of immense scale and graceful form. They are not humanoid. Their bodies are elegant constructs of light and flowing energy. They have no faces, no mouths to speak. Yet you can feel their attention, a focused, ancient intelligence directed entirely at you. There are 12 of them. They stand in a circle around your platform. They are silent, motionless. They are the source of the signal, the authors of the language. They have been watching the galaxy for eons, waiting for a mind that could understand their question. You feel a wave of communication wash over you. It is not a sound. It is a direct transmission of thought, pure concepts flowing into your mind. It is overwhelming, but you are not afraid. Their presence is one of immense patience, of deep, scholarly curiosity. A single thought separates from the flow. It is clear and precise. It is formed using the logical grammar they have taught you. The speaker has arrived. The dialogue may begin. You are in the heart of the mystery, the forgotten linguist from a remote outpost, now standing before the oldest minds in the universe. They have given you a key, and they have given you a chance to prove you know how to use it. The weight of your entire species, of every species, is on your shoulders. You begin to work. They provide you with a workspace. It is not a desk or a computer. It is a chamber where your thoughts can take form, where the logical glyphs of their language can be manipulated like physical objects. You are building the great lexicon, a bridge between their ancient knowledge and the younger races of the galaxy. The work is relentless. Time loses its meaning. The light from the distant stars you see through the chamber's walls seems to shift and age. You work against their fading glow. You are a scribe, translating the fundamental principles of existence. This language is more than just a tool for communication. It is a map of reality. The glyph for gravity is not a word. It is a functional equation that describes the force in perfect detail. The concept of life is a complex chain of logical statements. It defines the delicate balance of energy and information that separates the living from the inert. You discover concepts for which humanity has no words, ideas that your mind can barely contain. You learn the glyph for causality violation, the symbol for meta-existence. The language is a key to creation itself, to the rules that govern the universe. The elder ones guide you. They do not give you answers directly. They pose questions in their perfect logical tongue. They lead you to discoveries. They test your understanding. They are the most patient teachers imaginable. But you can feel a sense of urgency in their quiet thoughts. They show you why the lexicon is so important, why they broke their eons of silence. They share a new part of the original message, a section they had kept hidden, a part you were not ready to see until now. The true message begins to emerge. You assemble the glyphs. The translation flows from your mind. The broadcast was not a greeting. It was not a simple question. It was a desperate warning, a cry for help sent to any mind capable of hearing it. The lexicon paints a terrifying picture. A shadow is moving between the galaxies, a form of non-being that consumes energy. It does not just destroy suns, it erases them from existence. It feeds on the light and heat of stars, leaving behind nothing but absolute cold and darkness. The elder ones call it the Star Eater. The silent hunger. It is not a fleet of ships. It is not a biological entity. It is a phenomenon, a flaw in the fabric of reality that is growing. And it is coming for this galaxy. They have tracked it for millennia. It moves slowly, but its path is certain. It has consumed thousands of galaxies already. Whole island universes of light and life, snuffed out. The Elder Ones sent their signal as a last resort, a search for allies, for new perspectives. They are beings of immense knowledge, but they are not warriors. They show you simulations, a star cluster, brilliant and vibrant. Then the shadow arrives, a patch of perfect blackness at the edge of the cluster. The stars do not explode, they simply vanish. One by one, the light dies, the darkness spreads. It is a plague that eats light. This is the question they were asking. Not, is anyone there? But can you help us? They have been shouting a warning, but the galaxy was too busy shouting at itself to listen. Until you, the human who saw logic in the noise. The task before you changes. You are no longer just a translator. You are an emissary, a herald. You must take this new, universal language, this language of reality, and teach it to the galaxy. You must forge a unified voice from a million squabbling worlds. The Elder Ones offer you a choice. Stay with them and continue your studies. Become a keeper of their ancient knowledge. Or return to your own people. Take the lexicon and attempt the impossible. To unite the Gathar warriors with the Signan poets. To make old enemies trust one another. You look at the fading stars outside the chamber. You think of your little outpost. Of the noisy, chaotic, vibrant galaxy you call home. The choice is not a choice. It is a duty. You must go back. They provide you with a new ship. A small, sleek vessel that moves with the same impossible grace as their own. It is equipped with a transmitter powerful enough to reach the entire galaxy. And its data core contains the great lexicon, the key to understanding and the key to survival. As you prepare to leave, one of the Elder Ones communicates with you one last time, a single, clear thought. Trust is the most difficult word to translate. It cannot be defined. It must be demonstrated. You return to human space. You are no longer a forgotten linguist. You are a legend, the human who spoke to the void. Alliance Command does not know whether to court-martial you or give you a medal. They settle for giving you a promotion and a very large research budget. Their idea of a reward was always more work. You begin the great work. You broadcast the lexicon to every known species. You provide the key, the translation matrix. You explain the threat. You show them the simulations of the Star Eater. You share the warning of the Elder Ones. The galaxy reacts as you expect, with suspicion, with disbelief. The Gathar accuse you of fabricating a threat to consolidate human power. They see the universal language as a tool of control, a weapon to rob them of their warrior culture. The Signans are more receptive. Their star-born elegies have always spoken of a coming darkness. They see your language as a fulfillment of prophecy. But they are pacifists. They have no fleets to offer, only songs of sorrow for a dying galaxy. Other races are simply too alien to grasp the danger. A species that lives near black holes sees the consumption of suns as a natural process. A crystalline race that feeds on radiation sees the coming cold as a minor inconvenience. Forging a unified voice is harder than you ever imagined. You hold endless councils. You mediate disputes that are centuries old. You try to teach the concept of ally to species that have no word for friend. You use the language of logic. You show them the math. The undeniable calculation of their own extinction. Slowly, painstakingly, you make progress. A few species begin to see the truth. The pragmatic merchants of the Rigel system understand profit and loss. They see that the loss of the galaxy is bad for business. They pledge their freighters. The insectoid builders of the Vex Collective understand structure. They see the Star Eater as a threat to all ordered systems. They offer their construction fleets. But it is not enough. The great powers of the galaxy remain divided. The Gathar Empire, the Lore, Theocracy. They control the largest fleets, the most powerful weapons, and they refuse to join. They whisper of rebellion against your new human empire. They see your universal language not as a gift, but as a cage. They fear it is a weapon of human control. A Gathar Admiral, Kavak, becomes your most vocal opponent. He broadcasts messages in his own harsh tongue. He calls you the deceiver, the speaker of lies. He warns that humanity seeks to enslave the galaxy with a silent tongue. He rallies the fearful and the proud to his cause. You meet with him, not on a view screen, but face to face on his warship. The air is thick with the smell of ozone and metal. He is a mountain of muscle and scarred honor. His eyes burn with suspicion. Your logic is a trick, he growls, his translator turning the sounds into clipped, formal speech. A warrior's heart does not beat in equations. You do not argue. You do not debate. You use the lexicon to show him a new concept, not just threat or enemy. You show him the logical chain for shared doom. You show him the simulation of his own home world, its proud sun flickering and dying, its warrior monuments turning to ice. You show him the math, the cold, hard, inescapable truth. He is silent for a long time. His massive fists clench and unclench. Honor demands we fight our own battles, he says at last, not hide behind the words of a small, soft species. You meet his gaze. Honor is meaningless when there is no one left to remember it. You leave him with that thought. You have planted a seed of doubt, but you do not know if it will grow in time. The whispers of rebellion continue. Factions form. Secret meetings are held. Some would rather face the darkness alone than trust an old enemy. Your fragile alliance is threatening to shatter before it is even truly formed. And then the day you have been dreading arrives. The long-range sensors at the galactic rim scream a warning. The first outpost goes silent. Then another. The astronomical data is clear. The Star Eater has arrived. It is just as the Elder once described. A patch of absolute nothingness. A hole in the universe. It is vast. Larger than any fleet. Its presence warps space around it. It bends light. It crushes all communication. The normal chaos of the galactic rim has been replaced by a perfect dead silence. Panic erupts across the galaxy. The doubters are silenced. The threat is no longer a simulation. It is real. It is here. And it is hungry. The rebellion collapses overnight. Fear is a greater unifier than logic. Suddenly, everyone wants to learn your language. Everyone wants to hear your plan. Fleets from a dozen species converge at the rendezvous point, a nebula near the galactic core. Gathar battlecruisers float beside delicate Cygnon solar sails. The boxy freighters of the Rigelians drift near the living ships of the Vex Collective. It is a sight no one has ever seen, a chorus of worlds united by terror. They all await your command. Their captains and admirals are patched into a single command network. A network that operates using the great lexicon. Their orders will be given in the language you wrote. The fate of trillions rests on your ability to lead this impossible alliance. You stand on the bridge of your flagship, the Envoy. The star charts before you show the creeping edge of the Star Eater. It is consuming systems at an alarming rate. It will reach the first major colonial worlds in weeks. You have one chance to stop it. But how do you fight a hole in reality? How do you shoot at nothing? Your military advisors are stumped. They propose sacrificing stars to slow it down, to create fire breaks of empty space. But that is not a solution. It is merely a slower death. You look at the lexicon, at the language of reality itself. The star eater is not a creature. It is a process, an equation that always resolves to zero. You cannot fight it with weapons. You must fight it with a better equation, a better idea. You remember the first word you translated? The foundation of the entire language. Question. The elder. Ones did not send a battle plan. They sent a question. They were not looking for a general. They were looking for a linguist. You open a channel to the entire fleet, to all the worlds listening in. Your voice is calm, but it carries across the stars. We will not fight it with lasers or missiles, you say. Your words translated instantly into a dozen languages and into the pure logic of the lexicon. We will fight it with a single word. You turn to your comms officer. Open a channel. Broadcast directly at the entity. Maximum power. The officer hesitates. Ma'am? What do we send? You look at the creeping darkness on the star chart, a void that has swallowed galaxies. And you prepare to do the one thing no one has ever thought to do. You will talk to it. You broadcast a single message into the terrifying void. A message composed in the perfect grammar of the elder. Ones. You do not threaten it. You do not command it to stop. You ask it the first and most important question. The same question that started your entire journey. Why?